Okay, so we're starting to build our Dimir deck. Quite interesting, maybe a little weird. I don't think I'll play Hengewalker, Clockwork Servant. I will try to make it work, but the fail case of 2-3 is a lot better than a fail case 2-2, and the upside is also a lot better here. So Servant is a nice card to, even if I'm not sure I will be able to pull off Adamant very often. So obviously I'm gonna cut cards that aren't in my colors, and these artifact creatures that I don't want to play. And these artifact creatures I don't want to play. I don't think I'm that desperate for finishers. I got 19 creatures, I got 4-5, I got a flyer, I got some 4 power creatures, but maybe they're not that good in combat, but still. I got little flyer, medium flyer, let's say, and this will attack in the late game. And I got many value cards, so I got some self-mill in Vantress Gargoyle, but I don't think that's enough to play Festive Funeral. It's this card, I think it just sucks. I will have problems with early aggressions, perhaps, and 5 mana very conditional removal is very underwhelming. So tiny is a lot better, because it slows down the opponent's aggression in the early game. There will be creatures with 2 power attacking, so making them 0 power isn't bad. Maybe 3 copies is too many, but I don't think I'm gonna cut them all. Maybe I'll cut the first one for now. And I cut at least one Guardian. Now the deck isn't that expensive. I even have less than 3 average cost. For now it's not a format with kickers, so it's not that far from reality. I got 3 adventure spells here, so they're that is a reason to play more lands than the average mana cost here would suggest. Here we have another adventure spell, and here, but this is not a 1 mana spell, but 5 mana in split over 2 turns often, but still it's not there aren't that many mana sinks. Maybe this is a demanding mana sink. This can be considered as a mana sink, but I don't want. I don't need to enable early aggression by paying 2 mana for Wishful Merfolk. It's a nice option to make it attack if I don't have anything better to play, but these are just fillers to stop potential aggression from my opponent. So I'm not counting that as a demanding mana sink. So this one is a mana sink, 3 mana. So we've got some adventure spells and few mana sinks, and these two Witching Wells that aren't really 1 mana, but are counted as a 1 mana here. Still, I think 17 lands and 1 Midnight Clock is enough. If we're speaking about mana base, and I don't need to cut my expensive spells, my 6 mana and 2 5 mana spells. My 4 mana spells, if I will cut them, it's not because they're too expensive. Maybe 4 Guardians are too many still, but I've got some creatures that have at least 3 power here, 3 toughness, I mean, here 3 copies, and here and here. So they're not bad in my deck, but maybe 4 is too many for now. What do I want to cut next? Maybe 1 Wishful Merfolk, because I have Fulmar Knight as an early drop that stops aggression. Monitor, Gargoyle. So if I have cheap removal spells, 1 drop, 1, 2, 3, 2 drops, besides those these Merfolks, so 1 is enough, I think. Do I want to play 2 copies of So Tiny? 2 copies of Opt, 2 copies of Witching Well? Maybe that's too much. Opt can go, at least 1 Opt. I prefer to have artifacts that synergize with Animating Fairy and Bring to Life, and with Moonlit Scavengers. And I only have this as a draw 2 synergy. Opt is nice if I can enable it on at an instant speed, but I have draw here. Draw. I think I'm gonna draw. If I have Griffin in play, Wicked Guardians will enable it. Just dealing 2 damage to Griffin itself. This is a draw second. This is a draw second. I've got a lot. This one will once enable my Griffin. Folio will do it too. Falmer Knight and Witching Wells, so I got many options, and Opt is a card that's easy to cut if I'm not depending on draw on it for a draw 2 synergy. I think it's not that important. It's a nice card, but very cuttable, I would say. So tiny is an option to cut. Maybe another Merfolk, but then I would have so maybe I think Merfolk, because I don't have many 1 and 2 drops now, but 4 total is not bad. But I got early removal 2 mana. I got so tiny, so stopping the aggression isn't that bad in this deck. And this is a 2 mana card. This Rage of Winter sorcery adventure spell, 3 copies of 2 mana, slowing down the opponent. So maybe so tiny as one of the worst cards here can be cut, and maybe 1 copy will do. And I think Witching Well is perhaps one of the candidates for cutting. So tiny also, but maybe 1 copy should stay. And Guardian. And maybe a land, but I don't think so, really. I think this deck needs 17 lands and Midnight Clock. Maybe if I wouldn't have Midnight Clock, 17 lands would do, but 16 lands and Midnight Clock is not enough, I think, for a mana base. So that would be greedy. It's tempting because I often consider the greedy way and playing less lands if I'm able, but I don't think this deck wants it. It's got it draws many cards, and that's a mana hungry strategy, because I want to be able to play the cards I draw sooner than later. So lands are also important, and so I will count the creatures that synergize with Wicked Guardian. So it's 1, 2. Bring to life also because it's a 4/4. It makes an artifact a 4/4. So maybe it's a 3, 6, 7, 8, 9 here. So 9 is not bad, and I'm not that heavy on 4 drops. I already cut 2 guardians, so I think the 3 I left are gonna stay. But that would leave me with the choice between So Tiny and Witching Well, so maybe I will count the cards that synergize with Animating Fairy. 2 Witching Wells, Folio is 3, Clock is 4, and I think that's about it. So it would be nice to leave all 4 options. It's not that it's so crucial. I can have 3 options and still have 3 mana 2/2 flyer that sometimes wakes up an artifact. But Witching Well is a very nice card, and it really fits this deck. So if I could get away with it, I would prefer to cut So Tiny, because it's not a good card. It helps me survive until the late game, but I don't really like it, so but I lack removal options, unfortunately, in this deck. So this pseudo removal isn't that bad. Okay, let's try to cut it, and because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards and 9 cards are helping me to survive until the late game, so that's not bad. So I will try it this way and hope for the best, I think. And now I'm heavy blue, 16 versus 8 cards, and Covetous Urge and Drown in the Log are counted twice, here and here. So I got 14 mono blue and 6 mono black cards, and 1 card that I need black mana for, and 1 card that can be played if I have only 4 islands in play. So that's a reason to play a lot of islands and make Clockwork Servant work more often than not. And I got some adventure cards that also need blue, and some mana sinks that also need blue, and only Fulmar Knight is a black adventure instant spell. This also needs blue. Inactivated ability, not only mana cost. This and Midnight Clock needs but provides blue mana, so it's not that dependent on my islands. but I don't have that many adamant spells, vision and servant, and I think that's it. So 11-6 could be good enough, but I don't think I need that many islands. If I have only 2 adamant spells, so I don't want hands that lack black mana and have a way to stop early aggression are black, like Knight, a second Knight, or Drown in the Log, or Reef Soul. So 10-7 and Midnight Clock as another blue mana source. That would be good, I think. So I will try it this way. So wish me luck and see you in the next video when I will play my first game in this draft.